Those that wish to maintain their liberty must be eternally vigilant, to quote a founding father. But now we are literally overrun by traitors. As Cicero said, the traitor is the plague. And I wanted to play the full Dempsey clip here where Graham is trying to cover his bases. And, hey, do you know any allies that are funding him? Like we don't know. We're not funding him. We're not giving him weapons in Benghazi. And Dempsey knowingly looks at him and raises an eyebrow and goes, yeah, we got allies that are arming him. And then Graham goes, hey, let's just not demonize the whole Middle East here. And the message is, hey, I'm on the Defense Committee. I'm the powerful senator. You follow orders and play ball and help me cover our butts. Because, again, the whole government's not corrupt, and this is the establishment trying to get our military for multiple years to get behind openly joining with Saudi Arabia and al-Qaeda to take over the whole Middle East. And as much as our military isn't in love with Iran, they realize who the bigger jihadi threat is of radicalization, and that is the 79% Sunnis who are dominated by the minority Wahhabite, al-Qaeda, nutcase, crazy town, dark ages, bad people who, again, will be used to attack the West. Why? To take our liberty. And then have plausible deniability. Well, let me tell you something, government. The 28 pages are coming out where our government stood down when Saudi Arabia ran 9/11. That makes you complicit. It's already been seen by Congress. The word's already out on this show earlier this year. And just like a crack in the dam, nothing happened when we first reported that right after he introduced the bill. And then now, 8 months later, it is huge news. And it's got the whole government scared. And most people in the government weren't involved. Most people that are in the Joint Chiefs now weren't involved. Clearly, the head of NORAD knew what was going on back at the time. And he got promoted to be the head of the Joint Chiefs at that time. And so people don't want to be part of this. They know the house of cards are coming down. And the globalists think their house of cards is designed to come down and give them more power at each new crisis they create. That's not going to happen forever. Because the average person, whether they're an auto mechanic or a farmer or an FBI agent or a police officer or a school teacher or a factory worker or a bus driver or somebody that works at McDonald's, loves their kids and wants to just have a future. And we're sick of a bunch of corrupt political Wall Street people creating hundreds of trillions. It's actually 2.2 quadrillion, according to the New York Times a month ago. I keep saying 1.5 quadrillion. That's an old number. It's 2.2. The World Bank, IMF now say 2,200 trillion in fake derivatives. You people are the ones threatening the whole world with Zimbabwe, Weimar Republic meltdown. And the American people are going, the police and military are getting the training manuals, demonizing the founding fathers and gun owners and Christians and being told the Tea Party wants to kill them. They know that's propaganda. And then they know the next step means you're going to pull something and blame us to start a civil war. People know we're up to the edge now. People don't want to go over the edge. People don't want your world government. We don't want Cloward and Piven. We don't want to be poor. We don't want to be slaves. We don't want to be spied on. We don't want microphones at the park listening to us. We want a future. So everybody in the system better decide now. Corporate, public, private, I don't care. All these churches, all these glitterbug preachers who know full well their clergy response team and got a little government card and go to monthly government meetings and are deceiving your public. You're an agent of Caesar, violating the First Amendment. You're an agent of Herod. And you're not even, I guess it all got launched when 24 was the top show and it was kind of fun to be a secret agent. Now you realize it's not cool. It's called being a collaborator. Loose lips sink ships. Well, see something, say something. We see something, we are saying something. So when you see tyranny in your colleges or in your churches or in your businesses, you better report on it. Let's play the full Dempsey clip, and then we'll go to Jeffrey and others. Go ahead.
Do you know any major Arab ally that embraces ISIL?
I know major Arab allies who fund them.
Yeah, but did they embrace that? They fund them because the Free Syrian Army couldn't fight Assad. They were trying to beat Assad. I think they realized the folly of their ways. Let's don't taint the Mideast unfairly.
And Dempsey is looking at him like, I have never seen such a load of you-know-what dumped out in the middle of a Senate hearing. I mean, Dempsey knows full well they were ordered to ship hundreds of C-130s of weapons right into camps with al-Qaeda flags flapping. I've talked to the people that saw it. That's how dangerous this game is. The 28 pages are going to come out. All of it's coming out, boys. And I'm going to tell you something. Don't nuke a city and claim ISIS or ISIL did it to confuse us. We know who's behind it. You let it happen, bare minimum, and you're probably going to be behind it completely. All right, I'm going to your calls now. Jeffrey in Michigan, then Scott in North Carolina, Terry, Zach, Truth Man. We're going to all of you. Go ahead, Scott. All right.
Good.
Go ahead, Scott.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, hey, Alex. Alex, how you doing?
Good.
Big fan.
Thank you, brother.
I had a little interesting theory when I was listening to your show the other day about the Ebola outbreak in Africa and how it just kind of mutates and it kind of they're pushing vaccines on people with flu vaccinations too. What I'm worried about, Alex, is once this gets so bad and gets out of control, they're going to start forcing Ebola vaccinations, which obviously will not cure it or even make you worse for what matter. Because I worked in a hospital, and you would get fired if you did not take the flu shot. I mean, and that forced tyranny in these government run places, they're just appalling to me.
Well, that's right. For those that don't know, it's come out all over New York Daily News, you name it, that for about 6 years or so at government facilities, federal workers, hospital workers, you will take all these shots or you will be fired, even though really the law says you can't do that. And even though it actually causes outbreaks, weakens immune systems, causes mutations, all sorts of stuff, they are just force de jure or by fiat order trying to push a de facto forced vaccine campaign in this country, and it's disgusting.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, and what scares me, Alex, is because I think they were trying to weaponize Ebola in Africa, and it somehow leaked out. Whether it be a monkey got let out of the back of a room, who knows? I mean, but it got out and got in these villages, and now it's just a free-for-all. And these globalists are letting it happen on purpose because this is their saving grace to kill off most of the population so they can, fund their agenda. I mean, it really makes you sick.
Well, I've always said about the Ebola outbreak that I believe the first big plagues of the 21st century, cell phone brain tumors, that'll be covered up. All the neurological disorders from vaccines, that'll be covered up as a practice of how they manage covering things up as it actually reduces the population. But then they'll have big events with Ebola or mousepox, I've predicted, and now we're seeing Ebola, that'll wipe out hundreds of thousands, then millions. Then they'll put in a medical tyranny with forced inoculations around stopping that to actually weaken us and get us ready to release a pathogen that only kills those of us that already had the binary GMOs or vaccines in us, so that when the other part is introduced, a binary weapon is where it needs 2 or more things to activate. And that's the only weapon they'll deploy against us. Is something they've already tested, they've already mutated, they already know the chain of mutations is going to go through, so that it will have a computer-modeled effect so they can be ready. And again, the average person involved will know nothing. It'll be modeled and managed to test some sub-plagues that only kill 5 million, 10 million, 20 million ahead of a mega weapon that'll then later be released that'll kill 90% of the population. And that's what the globalists and all their publications say is 90% what they're going to whack. When you get deeper into their documents, they go, well, really humans are a disease. Only a few elite will be allowed to live and will merge with machines and be God. And you can't have too many gods. So in a lot of their documents, if you read deeper, they even talk about there being one being that comes out of this survival of the fittest, social Darwin mega race. And so there can be only one God. Kind of comes down to that. And that's the point we've now reached. Now, whether this is all real or theoretical, the point is the elite are open about their religion. This is their holy grail. This is their brass ring. This is their goal. This is their promised land. This is what they want to do. And so anyone that ignores this does so at insane levels of peril. Because once you know their master plan, then everything makes sense. And no matter how bad the tragedies are or how many they kill, we're just unconscious animals. We're just a plague hurting the earth. They're the guardians of the galaxy. They're the guardians of the earth. And they know best in the end. And they are going to attain this godhood. They are going to achieve Elysium. And then once they've achieved Elysium, the golden fields of the demigod, they will then take the fire of Promethean power and ascend to the stars on a stairway of heaven. Appreciate your call. Zach in Florida, you're on the air worldwide. Go ahead.
How you doing, Alex? Great show so far. I
Thanks.
just wanted to tell you about a term that actually came to me in a dream. For some reason, sometimes in dreams, my vocabulary is a little better than in real life. But the term that came to me was PTSD. And it's not post-traumatic stress disorder. It's post-traumatic society disorder. I mean, we're inundated with the lies, the deception, all the crap every day. It's tough. We're all suffering from it. And that encompasses it. It's a post-traumatic society disorder. And we're all suffering. Everybody as Americans.
No, you're right. And this is the learned helplessness where they apply more and more and more pressure until in the animal studies and human studies, we just give up, roll over, and give up. And that's the goal. Just give up, let the robots roll out, buy your goods from Apple with the suicide nets at their factories, forced abortion, it's trendy, it's liberal. Look, Al Gore wore different color socks, it's okay. You know, robot sentries are here to help. Take your GMOs, we love you, we love you, we love you. Forced abortion is good, infanticide is good, euthanizing old people's good, death panels for vets is good, humanity's trash. The only way you have value is to agree to that and join the anti-human exterminist team. Then you'll be a winner. Then you'll at least feel like you're on the bandwagon before we destroy you. This is their plan.
Exactly. And the only way to break out of that is just to be the best example that you could be. Detoxify your body, detoxify your mind, and be an example for the people in your community. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm the triple threat. I'm an Arab American, I'm a United States Army veteran, and I'm a libertarian. You want to talk about being demonized? It's incredible. But we can't get bogged down with that. What we have to do is just be the best example in the purest form moving forward so the people around you gravitate towards you. I mean, that's the only way I can see it at this point.
I'm sorry, one of my producers just walked in. Absolutely. Great point you're making, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange. Being an Arab American, being a veteran, and also being a libertarian, I'm under attack all the time. Whether it's the community not understanding the Arab culture due to just the deception and propaganda that's pushed on TV and the current wars and the rest of it. Being a veteran, we all know how they're under attack, which I am, and also being a libertarian. From all fronts, we're under attack, and I just feel like that all the time. But like I said, just be the best example moving forward, and nobody can really tell you anything.
Exactly. The best way to take out, and I appreciate your call, sir, God bless you. The best way to take out your opposition is to lead it. And the globalists have gone into the Middle East for at least 60 years, really 100, and have tried to put the most radical, out-of-control people in who have taken a system. When you look at Syria and you look at Persia and you look at Lebanon and you look at Jordan, I mean, this is where mathematics and writing and super high IQ people live, and they've had long histories of different levels of freedom. And then you look at who they put in charge, it is the most radical. And the plan is to build up an enemy, let them kill a bunch of people, and then wipe them out as well. But you have to understand, it's the same plan here. It's like with the militias. They would send feds out in the early 90s. This has all been declassified. You can look it up, congressional hearings, and create militia groups and lead them and have them say racist stuff and have them go out and be on TV and things to then demonize the idea of the militia that's totally constitutional and good, because the globalists knew that there was a threat from that. Just like they knew that revolution was coming in the Middle East for liberty, so the globalists went in and triggered it and put radical jihadis in instead of moderates and secular folks and people that want civilization, show that they could lead the revolutions and wreck the society. They knew a revolution was coming against the big banks looting us. So they wanted to make it left-wing so conservatives would reject it and back Wall Street no matter what they did. So they created the radicalized socialist, communist, Occupy Wall Street movement, radicalized it, police shipped drugs in. This came out in mainstream news. We first broke it. In Minnesota and other areas, giving them drugs so they could then say, you know, in their surveillance tapes, look, they're a bunch of drug addicts, to bring the homeless in, to then demonize the idea of being against banker bailouts. And then Homeland Security, when they were done with them, had a 36-city SWAT raid on them, arresting people with plans to even shoot the leaders if they were given orders to do so. So then they set the precedent on total martial law, shoot to kill, 007, Nazi-style garbage, all off a psyop they wound up to begin with. So people go, why aren't you for Occupy? Because I identified it. We went and had in the Fed rallies in 3 cities in Texas. And in San Antonio and Dallas, the Occupy people were totally mad communist and were mad that we were there protesting the private Federal Reserve and were demonizing us. It wasn't us demonizing them. We were nice. We were there to say, hey, Wall Street isn't bad. Select mega banks inside of it that are above the law are the ones that are bad. Because it's not just banks are good or banks are bad. It's that you've got mega banks that are above the law, don't pay taxes, run the regulations, that get your tax money and bailouts. Look at who funds the gun control groups, the victim disarmament groups, the enslavement groups. Look at who funds the open borders. Look at who funds the GMO. It's literally 6 banks. Wells Fargo, headed up by Warren Buffett. Bank of America, European-owned, of course called Bank of America, it's like the Federal Reserve is called Federal. J.P. Morgan Chase, right at the top, Goldman Sachs, and then 2 consortiums that form one big bank in Europe. We're talking 6 big banks.
Celebrate the spirit of freedom and liberty upon which our nation was founded at InfoWarsShop.com. Molon Lave is ancient Greek for come and take it. This popular design combines both classic Greek Spartan imagery with modern M16 assault rifles. Now available in women's tees and proudly made in the USA. And now you can protect yourself from corrupt cops with the InfoWars dash cam. It's your car's black box that records all that the driver sees and hears. And introducing the Block It Pocket. It renders your phone undetectable while protecting your private data and your health. Or take back your privacy and protect your personal information by getting your very own Detractor cell phone pouch. So get incredibly high-quality, freedom-based products and help fund the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.